A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nelles, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
Good morning and welcome in. It's the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon here on 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan. Free on the Odyssey app. My name is Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. NBA free agency is open. The Brewers with a big series at the Mets this week. Dario Melendez from WISN Channel 12 will join us on the show. But here, as he is, I don't know what is going on with him right now. Playing with toys, crazy backgrounds. He is the one, the only, Mason Crosby.
Well, I didn't have anything Disney in here, but this kind of felt a little like, is Big Hero 6 Disney? I don't know.
Could be DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking of Brooke Lopez. So
we are live.
Always touch that little.
We are live on YouTube right now at the Fan Milwaukee. Torian Prince is back. KPJ is back. GTJ is back. But Brooke Lopez is a Walt Disney World Los Angeles Clipper. Where are you?
He is a goner.
Where are you? Are you in Texas?
I'm in the
already?
locker, yeah. I'm in my mom's office. So.
Oh, my gosh. And what do you drink? Where'd you get that? So where did you go this morning that you were on the road already and you got a coffee from a gas station? Is that gas station coffee?
Oh, no. It's my Whataburger coffee. When in Texas, I just go and I get my coffee from Whataburger. I do my thing. I was upset. I was upset about Brooke, not being with the Bucks anymore and going. I got this little cuddly thing. It's my mom's foundation, the locker. If you're looking to give anything this week, for the 4th of July, check out her organization. But yeah, so Bucks are making some moves, some that we're not quite sure about. And I know you have an opinion on at least one of those re-signings.
I sure do.
And then letting Brooke go. I mean, 2 years, $18 million. Do you feel like the Bucks could have and should have been willing to at least give him that?
Could have, for sure. Should have, probably not. Like, I think this is an instance, and I think it's okay. And you've seen this with teammates. Now, granted, I think you saw it a lot with teammates, and Aaron would probably argue that teammates were let before their time. I think this is the perfect example of, like, thank you for your time here, and it's time for a mutual, like, you go somewhere else, you're good with it, we're not signing you, we're good with it. And I think it's a mutual, everybody's on the same page and they're all good with it. And I'm sure you've seen that situation as well, where it's like your time in Green Bay's up. Brooks' time in Milwaukee was up. He had a great run here. We have great memories with him. But I do think it was time to go in a different direction. And I think it was time for him to look for other opportunities as well. And I think it's all okay for everybody. I'm good with it.
Yeah, you said Green Bay.
I'm not sad.
I didn't see
I'm
that
still
happen
sad,
as much. I didn't see that kind of mutual parting of ways happen in Green Bay.
Because the Packers are so cutthroat?
They're not cutthroat. It's just like they just don't do it that way. They just do not have those conversations. They're not very forthright. It's kind of, I my situation. Whenever, it was Goody was on press conferences at the combine, at different things, saying that like we're still, trying to see if we can't get a deal done, or we're talking. Yeah, he was doing the same with Bakhtiari. So
and no, you weren't, Brian.
Yeah, I just don't like that aspect of it. If this was a mutual parting of ways for the Bucks and Lopez, that's what he deserves, and I think that's just kind of, if you're forthright, hey, we're not re-signing you. We really appreciate you. Go and chase something else. That is awesome. But they did sign. Bucks did sign KPJ to a 2-year, $11 million deal, and Torian Prince to a 2-year, $7.1 million deal.
And Gary
what do you
Trent
think about this?
And Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. But and Gary Trent Jr. So, I mean, the KPJ and Gary Trent Jr. signings, like those guys were great down the stretch, at the end of the year last year, and are hopefully going to just take even another step and be a bigger piece to this Bucks organization. But what do you think about that Taurean Prince signing?
Yeah, I think this is one when we get John Horst on the show, whether it's this week or next week. And I did play pickleball against him, and he said he would come on the show, even though I texted the Bucks last night, and they were like, well, we're working on his availability. And I'm like, man, you guys are classic corporate. Like, this is so he literally told me face to face, I will come on the show. But
that's what people do. I would have told you the same thing.
Yeah, I know. Here's my issue. Taurean Prince couldn't get on the court in the playoffs. Like, they had to change the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't play. And so I get that you need to build a team for 82 games, right? You need players who can play for 82 games.
No.
But it bothers me when a guy literally, like everybody has to up their game in the playoffs. And we saw KPJ do it. We saw Kevin Porter Jr. do it, right? We saw Gary Trent Jr. do it. We saw Derry Bird do it, AJ Green. Taurean Prince doesn't have a level to get to. So it's like, how do you reconcile, hey, let's sign this guy for 82 knowing he can't play? Like, he can't get on the court in the playoffs. He's that bankrupt of a player to get to the next level. And that's what bothers me. Like, 2 years, $7 million is not a lot.
Yeah,
it's a role player.
They paid him for the role that he's going to play.
But it's still I still feel like there's probably, I don't know, I say probably, but it's probably not, like, because I see what Luke Kennard signs for, and I see, where he signs for 1 year, $11 million.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, it wasn't like, oh, you signed Taurean Prince, so you didn't get Luke Kennard. You weren't getting Luke Kennard at 1 year, $11 million. But it's like, I just wish there was a better option than Taurean Prince.
I hear you, but it's also that where it's, if you don't know all the impact he has in the locker room, the type of teammate, like, there is a piece to that. I know from a fan perspective, it's just like, what have you done for me lately? What do you produce on the court? All of those things. But, like, you have to be conscious of chemistry and what that locker room brings. And a role player like Taurean Prince just might be a presence in that locker room that, just helps everything move forward. It might just be a guy that, he's going to at least be available and be there whenever you need him. And I don't know. I think at that number, obviously I don't like. It doesn't bother me. I mean Gary Trent Jr. Because what is their age difference? I mean, Gary Trent's a lot younger than.
Yeah, Gary Trent is a lot younger. He's like 25, I want to say, and Taurean Prince is
honestly, I feel
30.
like that's like a really good. That was a really good deal for Gary Trent Jr. at this moment. Like,
he's 26. Yep.
If he like starts, being that guy and that shooter and the player that he showed at times for the Bucks last year. A 2-year deal at $7.5 million could be a really good deal for the Bucks.
Well, and that's where the player options come into play, because I think with both Kevin Porter Jr. and Gary Trent Jr., Prince to a lesser extent, but with Trent and Porter for sure, I think what the NBA people are saying is that there's going to be way more money next year for free agents. Like for whatever reason, the way the salary caps are working out and the way contracts are working out with some of these long-term big money deals, there's a ton more money available to numerous teams next year. And so if a guy like Porter, if a guy like Trent bets on themselves and has a great season this year, they can opt out next year and then sign a 4-year, $40 million deal, which all of a sudden is a lot more impressive than a 2-year, 7.5. Because I think if they both have the season they think they're going to have with Lillard out, if the Bucks don't make another big splash and they go with this team, which it looks like they could, I think Trent Jr. and Porter Jr. both are going to have nice seasons, and I think they're going to be in line for those 4-year, $40 million deals next year.
Sure. Yeah, I like that. I mean, and I know.
And if not, they can always opt in.
They can opt in, yeah. So, but they're the NBA contracts how they are. I know that's what Aaron was fighting for, during the last CBA.
Yep.
And he didn't want to sign that CBA because he's like, no, this is ridiculous. We should be able to have player options like the NBA does.
Yes.
If we can be released once guaranteed money runs out and all of that, we should also be able to opt out if you're not going to fully guarantee our contracts once guaranteed money's out as well. like we should have that option in the offseason.
Yeah, he's not. He wasn't wrong.
And control the NFL player's own destiny in that. And then now we're finding out that there's all this talk about collusion in the NFL on not giving in. Like, have you not seen that? The collusion on not wanting to give fully guaranteed contracts.
Okay.
Yeah, some of it stems around Russell Wilson, which it was probably wise not to give him that fully guaranteed there in Denver.
Right.
But I guess in perpetuity, like a handshake deal type of thing, they had a deal for a fully guaranteed like $300 million contract.
Really?
And then they come back, get wet feet.
That does seem crazy, though, in football to have that much guaranteed in a sport where, like, people kill each other.
Did you guys just see this breaking news, though,
boy,
with a contract in the
know.
NBA?
Oh, no.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just officially got his Supermax.
Oh,
4 years,
for $285.
$285.
The richest annual salary for a player in league history. I don't know that I've ever seen 70.
$71.25 million.
Yeah, we've seen salaries in the 60s. I think this is the first ever salary to average over $70 million a year.
But see, you're saying that, like, I mean, how many of the top players this year tore their Achilles in the NBA? Their contracts are guaranteed. I mean, Bucks are dealing with it with Dame. We got Tatum. You got Tatum. You got now Halliburton. I mean, it's No, you're
KD
right. You're right.
It.
So it's like to not give guaranteed contracts just because you're worried someone's going to get hurt. I mean, how
you're good. You're right. You're not wrong.
How often is it a career-ending injury?
Yeah,
like an Alex Smith.
Right. A lot of times you're out for the the biggest thing is you miss a year, which sucks. Listen, nobody wants to miss a year, but you come back from that.
But you're also missing that year because you put your body on the line and you got hurt playing the game. So
like
there's both
what if
sides
Halliburton hadn't played? What if he had a calf injury in Game 5 and said, "I'm out for the playoffs"? What would first of all his teammates, his team, like the management, the fans, us as sports radio guys, like everybody, it would have been universal crushing him. You got to go out and try to play.
Yeah.
And then he
now he tears his Achilles and
he's
you're
out
like,
for the year.
Maybe he shouldn't have played. Like, why did he push it and do it? It's like he risked too much.
Right. Real quick, just in the 5 playoff games last year for the Milwaukee Bucks, Gary Trent Jr. played 34 minutes, averaged almost 19 points a game. Porter Jr. played 30 minutes, averaged just over 11 points a game. Prince played 12 minutes, averaged 1.2 points per game. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Like again, to my point, like he could not get on the court. I just want to hammer that point. And listen, there were times in his past where Bobby Portis couldn't get on the court.
Yeah.
And he has worked his way to that point. Now,
so is that your main focus? Like whenever you look at kind of like how a team is built, like it seems like you lean heavy into who steps up and plays well in the playoffs.
It depends where you are in the evolution of your franchise. But with this Milwaukee Bucks team having Giannis, I don't really care about the regular season. I'll be honest. Like I want them I want them to make the playoffs, and maybe they need a better seed. Maybe they showed that they need home court advantage. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I mean, the last 2 years are such trash with the injuries that like you can't really get a sense for what the Bucks should have done if they were fully healthy. But it is like on a team with Giannis, and you're going to make the playoffs. Yes, I want guys who can play in the playoffs, who can count on, and you got to be accountable and available for the 82 games in the regular season, or play 70 or whatever it is that makes sense. But like if they have this rotation of 8 or 9 guys, and all of a sudden 2 or 3 of them aren't playoff level caliber players, but they're regular season, that hurts the team. It hurts the franchise. It means like how do you translate that from having just played 82 games to now playing a different roster with a different starting lineup than you played for 82 because all of a sudden it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I get that to a point. Obviously playoffs do matter because that's where you go and you can win a championship. And with a team like the Bucks, who are going to be perennial playoff contenders, to get there with a player like Giannis, but at the same time, the story hasn't been written yet.
Right.
Like these guys could step up and all of a sudden be a playoff all-star, superstar.
I mean, Prince is 31. I don't think he's changing his feathers.
I'm not necessarily saying Prince, but it's just kind of like that I'm not willing to tell that story yet until you just see somebody every year and they go through a course of a season and they're grinders and they're guys that get you to those playoffs. Right. There is a necessity for that type of player. Not everyone on the court can be a superstar and be a guy that steps up and just balls out, in the playoffs and is that guy. That's why you have Giannis. You want Giannis to step up and be the guy in those big games.
In the regular season, Prince played 80 games, started 73, 27 minutes a game, averaged 8 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2 assists. So you're right, 27 minutes a game, those are
available.
27 minutes for 80 games. That's a lot of minutes he played for the team this year. You're right.
I just think there's something to be said about a guy like that at that price point, a veteran that's available. He's going to be on the court and he's going to give you an option every night that you show up, to the stadium. So for me, that's
fair.
That's a positive. But yeah, I agree. I'm
more
get
excited
so
about
excited
the other
about
two guys.
I am too, because I think those two could be, and they showed it in the playoffs. Gary Trent Jr., it was his night, right? Where he went off.
He could have missed, right? He was nuts.
And I think we were at Potawatomi Sportsbook doing our little show there.
During
Tommy
the draft.
And I doing
That's right.
trivia and Sparky. And Gary Trent just, what did he go for 40, something like that? He went off 38 or something like that.
It was high 30s for sure. Yeah.
And just like 6 threes or something. It was ridiculous. So, just love those storylines, and I think this Bucks team must see that. From the top down, they must just see that there's some pieces that have some good energy that we can get some value on, and see if we can't just build this thing from within at least this year. And now without Brook, you might see them go and chase a big guy. You might see them go try to find one kind of stalwart to add.
Well,
to
I'm going
lineup.
on record right now. Please, to the heavens above, I pray that it's not DeAndre Ayton.
Oh, it's going to be DeAndre Ayton.
I know, I know. He has a toxic personality on a team. He is toxic on the court. He is toxic off the court. He is brutal. He thinks he's the best center in basketball. He thinks he's a max player. He said that on the record. I'm a max player. He is not good at basketball. He does not fit in today's game. I just think it's going to be such a mess of that. They're going to cut him by January as such a terrible fit if they sign him.
Gary Trent Jr. in the playoffs had 33 points in Game 5, had 37 in Game 3. He hit 22 threes over the 5 games.
Stud. He was an absolute stud.
And those are the stories, right? It's like nobody expected that. I love that. A guy that just does not get blinded by the spotlight and get nervous in those moments and steps up and just becomes a guy. Yeah. Now it's Gary Trent Jr. is expected to be a guy for this Bucks team.
So you guys know that I love, I'm on record, Canada's my favorite place on earth, right? You guys know I love Canada.
I wore my Panther hat today for you, Mitch.
Yeah. Now you are officially on record saying it. We've been saying it for
you. My new second favorite place on earth, I think now is Atlanta, Georgia. I actually think that the Hawks could be sneaky good this year. They have made every right move. Now, granted, a lot of it comes down to, can Porzingis stay healthy, and can Nicolay's own Jalen Johnson stay healthy? But if those two guys could stay healthy with Trae Young, now they bring in Alexander Walker.
Nickeil Alexander
Walker, Shea's cousin, who was on the Timberwolves. They bring in Luke Kennard, one of the best sharpshooters in the league. They are creating a roster of modern NBA players that if they can mesh, which who knows, it's all new guys, but if they can figure this out by December, January, the Atlanta Hawks could be sneaky good this year. So if Atlanta was in Canada, that would be my best spot. I want to go to Atlanta, Canada today.
What about the moves just that the Bucks made and kind of the comments we heard from Horst on just competing to be a top 6 team and not be in the play-in? Do you think that based on these moves and what the rest of the East has done, that kind of leads the Bucks to the top 6? It feels like anyone could be a top 6 seed in the East next season because there is no team. I feel like we're going to see Cleveland Orlando. I like Atlanta, like you said there, Mitch. But
New
I mean,
York.
it's going to be up for grabs for that 2 seed now with Boston selling everything off, being hurt, and really no one else in the East emerging.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned.
Yeah, Boston's going to be interesting.
Right,
like,
they're
are
still
they going
to be good. No, with Jaylen Brown and Derek White, they're still going to be good.
Yeah,
they'll
they're going to be good.
They'll be in the mix for top 6. I think a team like Philly. Listen, if Embiid comes back healthy, if they figure out what to do with Paul George and Tyrese Maxey, like 2 years ago they were top 6. They very easily could get back into that top 6. So I think the Bucks are absolutely in contention in that top 6. I think you're going to see a lot on Giannis this year. Like, he is going to be that point forward. I still think there's a chance that, like, Connaughton and Kuzma, I wonder. So I know they want to trade Connaughton. I don't know what they want to do with Kuzma. And I don't know the rules. Can they? I know they can package Connaughton and Kuzma now because they're under the second apron. Can they package Connaughton, Kuzma, and the $14 million mid-level exception and really go get a star? But as we've seen the past couple of years in the NBA, building super teams doesn't necessarily work. Like, you need a team with depth and players. You know, that might be the new NBA where you're not building a team of 3 superstars and then a bunch of scrubs who are just good enough to get you there. You actually need like a depth of 5, 6, 7 guys.
Well, because think if you're an up-and-comer that is showing that they could be that star, like, are you going to go take a little less of a deal to play with somebody, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, no, you can go and be the guy at any team you want to be on that that doesn't have a superstar. So yeah, I think the days of building the LeBron, Miami Heats and the Cavs and even back in the Chicago Bulls era where it's just kind of like you're bringing in Dennis Rodman's and finding these pieces that just can go and win a championship. That's not how it's going to work. It is becoming more relatively like an NFL system where you have to build, like you said, for depth. Have like a 1 or 2 guys that are going to lead the way, and then just everybody else know their role and be willing to kind of buy their time until they can get their opportunity somewhere else.
Well, and that's where I think Trent and Porter fit in perfectly. It's where I worry about, and I think to an extent Bobby does too. But I worry about Prince. I worry about Kuzma. I worry about what they're going to do with the mid-level exception. And if it ends up being Ayton, like, I think those are guys who can't be those guys who can't step up.
Because at this point, like with where they paid Gary Trent and KPJ, not a ton of money. I mean, KPJ maybe a little bit more of an expectation, but do you think Kuzma thinks like now, like with Dame out and all that, like is he kind of the number 2 guy?
I do think he thinks that.
Oh, I just threw up in my mouth after you said that.
As you should have.
I mean,
you should have.
I mean, that's what he's got to be considered at this moment, right? Like, if you just look at that roster.
The problem there is he's just not good enough to be that guy. And it means the
roster's
roster's
I just worry
in
when
trouble.
he thinks, I think and like you saw that whenever he kind of.
I want him to think that.
But whenever he thinks he's in that role, I don't think that's his best space. Like he is a role player.
Yes.
Whenever he's the main guy, it's just not his. That's not where he thrives.
This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. Shoot us a text. How do you feel about Porter Jr., Trent Jr., Prince? How do you feel about Lopez walking to the Clippers? Dario Melendez, sports director, WISN 12, is going to join us next to talk about some of these Bucks move. Also talk about the Brewers, offseason Packers. I don't think he was invited to Jordan Love's wedding, but you never know. We'll find out. Dario will join us next here on the Mason Crosby Show, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Let's go.
Yeah, buddy. Brooke, nothing lasts
wow.
forever. Yeah,
I
that's
like
all
that.
I thought about.
It's just the
Man,
song.
I'm gonna
this
miss
whole
him.
album.
I'm gonna just miss seeing him. Just pet his that little dinosaur whenever he went on the court.
Or not even a dinosaur, but like a fake alien or something like something.
Yeah,
like,
all his little
Lilo
things,
and
like,
Stitch or
yeah.
Did
I
you
hope
see
they can
the,
still
did you
have
see,
fun out there.
Did you see the new Lilo and Stitch, by the way? Did you take the girls or did
Yes,
they go?
we did see it.
And
Yeah,
I heard it was pretty good. I haven't seen it.
It was
yet.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I didn't fall asleep. That's usually my
That is.
If I go to a theater and don't fall asleep in the movie, it's it was quality.
No, I agree with that. We are efforting Dario Melendez from WISN 12. He'll join us. Just a few news and notes I happened to notice over the past few minutes. Ohio has passed a new state budget that includes a $600 million in public funding for a fully enclosed, state-of-the-art dome stadium for the Cleveland Browns.
Another grass field gone.
Right, and or
you know how we feel about grass here on the Mason Crosby Show.
Yes, we love grass. I don't love a dome in Cleveland. I think part of like Cleveland's
so dumb.
Their whole persona as a franchise is that they play by the lake and they've got bad weather and they've got and that's part of their like toughness and why I mean listen,
that was part of their pitch to the city and the state that that's why they went 0-16 and why they've been awful for so long is that they play outside in tough conditions. Do you think that was part of it?
I think it was more. I love that. I think it's more. I bet they used Minnesota as an example. Like, hey, look at how cool U.S. Bank is. That's what we need to be.
They got Gold Cup games. They got all this. Yeah, but I mean, it's summertime. You can go play in Cleveland in the Browns Stadium right now. Just if you retrofitted or made a stadium that could hold soccer matches or different things. Honestly, that's where U.S. men's national team plays a lot is in Ohio. Yep. They go to the center of the country, especially when they're playing Mexico or a formidable Central America team where they don't want as many of the opposing fans there. They always go to Ohio and play somewhere
and
there.
Apparently they're moving out of Cleveland as well. They're moving to Brook Park, which is right next to the airport. But it's not on the lake. So it won't be like a stadium on the lake. Either cheaper land or as some, I know the Atlanta Braves did this, higher income suburbs where they think they can get more money, more sponsors, that sort of thing. Moving out of the city. I like a city center as well. I know we love Miller Park or AmFam Field. We love tailgating. But I still think about from time to time how cool it would be if that stadium was on the lake in Milwaukee.
Yeah, especially baseball stadiums. I mean, they're in the city center is the best. Yeah, and that's why basketball arenas are so awesome. Because you go to dinner, you're hanging out, and you just cruise to the stadium.
Exactly. Joining us now on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law from WISN 12, our ABC affiliate here in Milwaukee. He is the sports director, Dario Melendez. Morning, Dario.
Morning. How's it going, guys?
What's up, Dario? We were talking this morning a little bit about Brooke Lopez going to the Clippers, and we just started running down Disney movies. I know you're a girl dad. What's your favorite Disney movie, and what are you gonna miss most about Brooke Lopez?
Do we have enough time if we're gonna talk about Disney movies? Because
I told you, Dario was a Disney guy.
I love it.
I am the Disney aficionado. That's a tough question, man. Because again, do you consider Pixar Disney?
No, I don't know that I consider it pure Disney.
Not pure Disney.
It's in the family, but it's not pure Disney.
Okay. Look, Lilo and Stitch is great. It's such a fun movie.
It's very popular, yeah.
Nice.
And especially now with the live action that just came out. I mean, I love me some Princess and the Frog. That's a really good one.
Okay.
Tangled is awesome.
I love Tangled. Yes.
Yeah, my girl.
When they keep messing up his nose on the wanted posters, and that's all he cares about. That's my favorite.
Flynn Rider. Yeah, no, it's good. And I mean, the best thing about when you go to the Disney World parks, you can kind of relive that in some of the rides. I used to be when I was little, Little Mermaid was my jam. I had me a thing for Ariel.
Sure. Yeah. You're not alone, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, awesome. No, and when we talk about Brooke Lopez, it's sad. I got to know Brooke pretty well because I was with the Bucks broadcast team, and he's just a good dude. And I covered him when he was in Brooklyn too, when I was out in New York. Just always a really good dude. Always available for everybody. When you saw him off the court with his teammates, everybody kind of gravitated toward him. So I kind of always talk about this. When I was in New York in 2015 with the Mets, they go to the World Series. Next year, they have their 5 horsemen in DeGrom and Syndergaard, Matz, Wheeler, Syndergaard, Harvey. And they thought they were going to be like the next big thing, the next dynasty. And the one guy in that pitching rotation that was kind of left out was Bartolo Colon. So they let him go, and the team falls apart. And the whole purpose, the point I'm trying to make is Bartolo Colon was the glue guy for that Mets team.
Told you, Mitch.
And I just wonder if Brook Lopez is kind of the glue guy for that team, because he's just so well liked. He kind of brings everybody together. He can get along with anybody, because he could be the serious leader when need be. He can pick up the slack when need be. Because again, we always forget he's the leading scorer in Nets franchise history, so the guy can play ball at a high level offensively and defensively. And he could also take a back seat because he knows his role. He knows what the team needs from him, which is rebounds and blocks. So it's just going to be interesting to see. I don't know if Bucks fans truly appreciate what Brook Lopez did. I understand he's a little slower and the NBA has sped up a little bit, but Giannis hates playing the 5. That's why you re-signed Portis. And people keep thinking Giannis can play the 5. He can't. We've seen that. We actually saw a lot of that last year when they tried to put him there, and he was struggling. And I called him a liability, and people got so upset. It's like, look, he is a liability when he plays the 5. Like, he just is. He doesn't like doing it. He doesn't know how to do it.
He doesn't like, he doesn't like posting up. He doesn't like backing people down.
Well, and especially on defense. He does not like it.
Exactly. It's the defensive aspect. Like, to play the 5 in these defensive schemes, there's so much you have to cover, and he doesn't want to cover that. He just doesn't want to think. Like, he's such a natural athlete. He just wants to be a natural athlete. So when you're playing the 5 in these positions and you have to free up other guys to get rebounds or switch and roll, like, you could do it, and he does it at a high level every now and then. Look, you remember the 2021 NBA Finals when he blocks Ayton. He guards the pick and roll, comes back, and gets a huge block on Ayton. That's great. You could do that every once in a while. But doing it for an entire game or a majority of a game is not something that's in his bag. So, I get it. I mean, he got a big deal. The Bucks wanted to get a little younger, a little faster, but it's going to be a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, man. Dario Melendez, sports director, ABC, WISN, 12 in Milwaukee. Appreciate you jumping on. You said a name, and Mitch and Tommy were a little had a little conversation on this in the first segment. You said Ayton, and that's one that I think the Bucks could be tempted to go sign. So what do you think about that if they were to pursue that sign?
Yeah, I'm kind of like leaning toward that. What Mitch is, I think Mitch has a frog in his throat.
Yep, something.
Look, it's all about culture, right? Bringing guys into locker rooms, guys leaving locker rooms. You'll think about the Brewers a couple of years ago when they let Hader go. They didn't realize, or traded Hader away, they didn't realize what a locker dynamic, a clubhouse dynamic could do to a team. Ayton has a reputation, right? He's a diva. He has a little bit too much baggage with him. I think
he's the anti-Brook Lopez, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The player is solid. If you just need some depth, if you need a rim protector, if you need a guy that can play the 5 and let Giannis and Bobby play free, I think he could be really good at that. And look, maybe his coming to Christ, you come to Milwaukee and you're with a guy like Giannis. Like, there's a strong enough clubhouse, or locker room, I should say, within the Bucks organization, especially with someone like Giannis leading it, that you kind of get someone straight. But also,
it can happen sometimes, but Ayton's like 32.
Yeah, can you teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That kind of stuff just doesn't usually work in Wisconsin for some reason. It's just like you get kind of chewed up and spit out. Like, that stuff just doesn't fly.
Yeah, the guy I would have loved the Bucks to try to get was Turner from the Pacers. Obviously that's a pipe dream. He was a free agent. He likes Indianapolis. He's not going to leave. But look, can Bobby start the 5 for an entire season? You still need depth at 5, right? You can't just have one guy. So they're going to have to go out and get somebody. Maybe. Look, if you can get DeAndre Ayton for cheap, and you have a real talk with him if you're Doc Rivers, and you make things incentive-based where, you know, you play this many games, you make this many practices, and you're not a jerk.
Yeah, put that in there.
Not a money.
Not a jerk.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk.
I
love it.
If you're not a jerk, you get $10 million.
There you go.
Quantify
Quantify that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just they're running out of big man options. Like, there are some out there that there might be some sign and trades. Like if this Brook Lopez deal turns out to be a sign and trade, if you can figure out a way for someone to take Pat Connaughton's contract and get a big man. So you might not have any other options is the only problem the Bucks might run into.
Yeah, I mentioned, and I haven't seen any news on it. I think, let's see, free agents. I think it was Boucher might have been available. What do you think of him as a player and as maybe a cultural fit?
I mean, maybe. The problem is we're going to get to such slim pickings at this point.
Yeah, it's like
that's why the Brook Lopez deal hurts a little bit, because you kind of know what you're going to get from Brook. You're going to get a really big stretch five that can shoot a three ball and guard the rim. They don't really grow on trees.
Right.
The Serbian guy, Markovic, who they just got, is kind of going to be in that dynamic once he adds some weight. I don't know if you know that he's like 7 feet, 190 pounds, soaking wet out of the shower. Super athletic, though. Like, if you watch his tape, you can see why teams liked him. Super athletic, can shoot the three ball, get up and down in transition, has like a nice little soft touch around the rim. At the moment, he'd probably play a 5, but I think they obviously want him. I mean, play a 4, I should say. They'd want him to play the 5 down the stretch. It's just, yeah. I mean, these stretch centers, which is what the NBA wants to play now, they just don't grow on trees. And I thought it was a pretty sweet deal that the Clippers got for Brook Lopez. So, look, Portis is going to be good. Portis is going to be fine. You just need to find someone to back Portis up, because he can bang down low. He can guard the bigger centers, but he can also get out in transition, which is kind of what you want. The Bucks are going to be a smaller team, but they're also going to be a much quicker team.
Yeah, which doesn't has shown to be not a bad recipe, right? I mean, you look at OKC. I can't, like, I don't understand how, like, Chet Holmgren does it. Like, I'm just like, dude, like, put on some weight. But the guy just, finds a way to do it. And he's obviously extremely tall. But, their team just is one of those that they're going to move fast. The Pacers, same type of team. It seemed like the two teams in the finals were just teams that were more athletic, were willing to run and do some of the hard stuff on defense. And it seems that's what you talk about, I think, every year about the team that wins it, right? Or the teams that are in the finals. The teams that are willing to work the hardest, run like best in shape teams, and they're willing to do the tough things on defense. And I think that's sometimes maybe at the, in the last this last season, and we saw it at times there down the stretch, like this Bucks team became a really good defensive team, but in the playoffs they just could not keep up with the Pacers.
Yeah, and look, not having to change your style of play from game to game because you didn't know which superstar you're going to have hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I mean, that's I think one of the things people overlook. Like, you think you have Lillard back, so you go back to a different style, then you lose him, so now you have to kind of recalibrate your brain while on top of knowing that you don't have one of your best players. In the past 4 or 5 seasons, when it comes to injuries for this Bucks team, has just been brutal. It's part of the game. I've always been a proponent of less games equals better play. The 21 season when there was a shortened season, I thought was awesome. Like, they should have just kept it at that. They should have started the season December 1st or Christmas Day and made, like, NBA opening day a big thing. The NBA finals wrap up in July. All-Star game for baseball is done, or wrap up right before the All-Star break, and then baseball takes over. Like, it would have been an awesome way to, like, keep the seasons connected. Stanley Cup final gets their own light shine on them. The NBA finals would have the nice summer. You would be up the Deer District in June and July. It'd be a lot of fun. But
I like
these
that.
long seasons are good. Yeah, it's just the long seasons crush people. Like, I mean, Mason, I don't know how you would have felt playing an extra game or an extra 2 games coming up soon in the NFL. I mean, it's going to be wear and tear on your body mentally, and these seasons just get so darn long.
They really do. Dario Melendez joining the Mason Crosby show. Yeah, I think NBA talks about, and now the NFL's trying to steal Christmas Day. I think your point is exactly if all of a sudden NBA doesn't start until Christmas, and Christmas Day is opening day for the NBA, like they would take Christmas Day back right away.
Imagine how cool that would have been. Like, look, the NFL season wraps up when the NBA is just about to start. So you're going to get one cool pop of the NBA on Christmas Day. Then you focus for the next month on football. That's gone. Baseball starts, and then hockey finals, and then you really ramp up into basketball coverage again for another month and a half by itself, only competing with the dog days of summer. And then as soon as basketball wraps up, you're in a baseball postseason run, and then you get to NFL kicking off. So
we got to figure it out.
It would have been smart, but what do I know?
Got to figure it out. I love it. All right, I think Mitch has a Brewers question for you.
I mean, I know you spent some time in New York with the Mets, and certainly with Stearns going over to the Mets, and with the Brewers losing to the Mets in the playoffs last year. This is their first time getting together this year. The Brewers are half a game behind the Mets in the wild card race. It feels like there should be a little extra juicy, even though I know it's July 1st, so the calendar changed, but it's still like we're still not in the true pennant race. But what does this series mean to the Brewers and to the Mets, frankly, who've been scuffling? They just got swept by the Pirates. Like, what can this series mean a little bit more, even in early July?
You want my honest answer?
You're going to say no.
No.
That's okay.
Exactly. I mean,
I want your honest answer.
I just don't think a lot of players are as invested as fans think this early in the season. The whole goal of the first half is to get to within striking distance of a playoff spot or be a game or two back of first place by All-Star break. If you're in those positions, then you can be buyers, and then you go all out in September and August, or August and September, I should say. As we just mentioned, seasons are really long. Like, you can't expect these teams to go crazy for an entire year. I mean, if you remember back in 2018, people tend to forget this, when the Brewers had the best record in franchise history. They played losing baseball from June until the start of September. They were 3 games under 500. So they had a really good start to the season, and they had a really good end of the season. And then you had that middle ground where they kind of just treaded water. That's kind of what these teams are doing now. Is it an important game series? Without a doubt. Like, you want to win every game. You want to win every series. You want to keep mojo going and all that fun stuff. But I just don't know if players are as invested as fans think they are during this time of year.
That's fair.
Yeah. Dario, I love how you see the sports and like the major league, major sports leagues, and from a player perspective as well, because that is you talk about culture, you talk about locker room, you talk about kind of how players might view it versus how fans view it, which is like such an interesting dynamic, because it's like you show up every day as a player and you're just like, you're ready for that one game. You're not getting ahead of yourself. You're not thinking about getting to the playoffs and all of those things. And on this, now being on this side of it too, like I find myself like trying to anticipate very differently than I did whenever I was, playing.
Yeah, Mason, we all know you are.
I'm a wild card.
Yeah, you're like every single game. You are like highs and lows and
Dario,
pins and needles. Dario, Mason is
card.
like a crazy fan now. He's like, forget that I played pro sports. Every game means everything.
Just for baseball,
crazy.
Yeah. Baseball, I'm crazy.
And that's what I try to tell people. It's not supposed to be like insulting, like when I say I'm not a fan. Like, I'm not a fan. Like, I grew up in South Florida. I grew up a huge fan of like the Marlins, the Dolphins, the Heat, the Panthers.
The Panthers, for sure.
Yeah. And again, I couldn't name like 5 people on the Panthers that just won the Stanley Cup final. The business kind of takes it out of you. And I don't mean to say like I'm not a fan as insulting. It's just fanish or fanatic. I'm not fanatical about any team. Like, I root for the teams that I cover because it's a lot easier to cover a team that's good. And if the Packers go to the Super Bowl, guess who else goes to the Super Bowl? Me. If the Brewers go to the World Series, guess who else gets to go to the World Series? Me. But if I'm like a fan of the Brewers or a fan of the Bucks and they lose the game or they get into like one of these losing streaks, it's like, am I supposed to react professionally as a fan and be
Dario,
so upset
I want you to mope around.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can't go on like a post-game show or do my highlights. Like, oh man, screwed this one up again. Fire the entire team. It's like no, it's like just try to like be a little level-headed. Like
sounds so rational, Dario.
Well, again, and I'm telling you right now, there are some people out there that hate that because they want you to be where they are. Like they want you to feel those feelings. And I get it. It's just for me, like trying to deliver the news and have like a rational decision, you can't do that. But it also makes for good radio and good television for those who have kind of leaned into the whole fan aspect to go that route. I know Bart, our buddy Bart Winkler, is a passionate fan, and he lets everybody know it. And that's great. And I love that for him. I just can't go that route.
And we appreciate that perspective here on the Mason Crosby Show because, you know, I'm a crazy fan and Mason's become a crazy fan. So we need that perspective every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are jokers. I guess
I'm testing it out, Dario. I'm testing out this whole, like, get just, you know, on pins and needles every time the Brewers take the field. I'm trying this, you know, I'm trying this perspective out, and we'll see where I land here in a few months.
Mason just realized how stressful it is to be a fan and enjoys that pressure after it was so stressful being a player for all those times.
100%. And look, that's what being a fan, that's what makes being a fan awesome. And to be honest, I wish I still had that to an extent. But it just, I remember, where was I? I think maybe I was in New York, or maybe I was at ESPN. I forgot where it was, and I'm doing a highlight of the game, and it was a team that like I really liked, and I just got so upset that they were losing that my manager had to have like a talk with me. And he's like, "Hey, we're gonna have to calm that down a little bit." It's like, "Oh, okay. Well, that was my coming to Christ moment, where let's just try to separate the fan from the professional Dario."
Fair.
Well, I get it. I get it watching my kids' sports. Like, I can keep calm and collected. Like, you know, nothing like phases me in these other sports for real. Like, you know, in the fandom and that. But like when my kids are doing something, like I am just like I'm locked up, and I like knowing I can't do anything for them.
I sit so far away, just so like I can kind of stew in my own frustration. Because again, it's like I know how to do this. I thought I taught them how to do this. This is reflecting poorly on me. Like, okay, well, now I have to have a therapy conversation.
Exactly.
Got to get on the phone real quick. Just because if I'm in my head this much about a T-ball game, and there's
if you're not gonna play well, you're not gonna win. Then why are we even doing this? Why are we even out there?
Ice cream's for winners.
That's right. Like coffee's for closers. Dario, thank you so much for jumping on today. We appreciate it. Looking forward to catching up with you soon.
See you guys.
All right, thanks, Dario.
That is Dario Melendez joining us right here on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. We've got there's TJ Watt rumor. Let's start some TJ Watt rumors.
Yeah, I think we got to talk TJ Watt. I had someone respond on Twitter that they wanted some TJ Watt talk, so we're going to dive into that.
So let's get that going.
He's coming to Green Bay. Oh, what?
What? And JJ's coming out of retirement, and he's coming to Green Bay.
All the Watts.
It's the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. This is the Mason Crosby Show, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM. The Fan, the Cranberries with Zombie bringing us back here. I'm a fan of this one, Mace.
Zombie.
When I was a camp counselor 25 years ago, we used to sing. There was like a 10-year-old kid who loved this song. He used to blast it all the time.
Really?
So we used to sing it, and he would walk around camp as a zombie and freak everyone out. And like we would do it. And like as counselors, we thought it was the funniest thing ever. This kid was like,
Watt?
It wasn't, but it probably could have been because I'm that much older than him.
Exactly.
We are the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, and TJ Watt is a Pittsburgh Steeler. For now. For now, he did not show up to OTAs. He did not show up to minicamp. He is not happy. I don't know what this trade yesterday, Minka basically for Jalen and Jonnu, what that'll do to the Steelers' finances, to their prioritization.
Pundits are saying that the Dolphins won that trade, pretty handily.
I think they did. They got the younger, more impactful play. When you make a trade.
Minka is such a good player.
Isn't it? I mean, yes, I think Ramsey and Smith are both decent players who will fit in and will play. But isn't the winner of the trade almost always the team that gets the best player in the trade?
For sure. I mean,
the Dolphins got the best player.
Jonnu Smith is a good player. Having both those players come, and the Steelers have to take on a $26 million Jalen Ramsey contract everyone wants to say he's declining. I don't think the numbers actually say that. Like he's not as good as he once was, but he's good once as he ever was, right? Like isn't that
right?
That's what we were talking about.
He's not as good as he once was, but he's good once as he ever was. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I feel like I don't think you can't necessarily judge it until again that story is written as the season unfolds. But let's just talk T.J. Watt real quick. Do you what would you give up if you were the Green Bay Packers to get a player like T.J. Watt if he was available?
T.J. Watt is. Hold on, let me see. I want to see exactly how old he is.
Do you think it's
by the way, DeAndre
second round draft pick?
DeAndre Ayton's only 26, by the way. He just looks 47 years old.
Who's that?
DeAndre Ayton, who we were talking about last segment. He's only
26.
Yeah, but he's like.
Man, for some reason I thought someone said he was 32.
Well, and it feels like all right. So T.J. Watt is 30. His birthday's in October, so he will turn 31 after the first month of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a second rounder gets it done. Like I don't think Pittsburgh takes a second rounder unless.
No, I mean to get a guy like that, and like even again,
I'd give up a second rounder in a second.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a first and a player. Like I think you have to send them somebody.
Romeo Dobbs, see ya, right? Go reunite with Aaron Rodgers, right? That's the player that goes with it, if anything. And take Lucas Van Ness or another edge, Kingsley, whoever you might want. You can throw in any edge rusher you'd like too. This is I just want to break it down here for you guys as well. The Packers have $35.5 million in available cap space right now, according to Over the Cap. However, though, the cap hit in the offseason only accounts for the top 51 cap hits on the roster. Once it does not include the 53-man roster, and it does not include the practice squad, which will be about $4 million as well. The number is going to go up. So Green Bay can technically make the trade, but it's going to be tight because he's probably going to want a new deal. Obviously, that's why he wants to be moved on. And right now, his number in 2025 is only $21.5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what the Packers would do, they have cash, so they would just like prorate it out. They'd make his like cap hit this year as low as possible, and then they'd push it out. So I mean, if the Packers want to get it done, they'd be able to get it done, and it does make sense if you move Romeo Dobbs because now you don't have to make a decision on him at the end of his fourth year. Whereas like they're going to be in a weird spot come next offseason on if Romeo plays for the Packers and has a great year, like they have to decide on him, right? Yep. It's going to be one of those situations where it's like, all right, he was a vital part of this team, had a good season. Do we pay him something? Because somebody's going to if he goes and balls out this year.
Right.
So that's a very Packer type thing where it's like, all right, let's just move on before we have to make a tough decision on a guy.
None of this is based in reality, right? I just want to be clear. Like, there is a
Someone's reality.
0.0% chance the Packers make a deal for TJ Watt.
I would say that 0.0 is too low. But
Okay.
I would say 5% is probably more of a
I think
fair.
5% is way too high.
It would be
2%,
95% chance.
0.5%.
You're getting an A either way on the other side.
You are 10x too heavy on that, Tommy.
I really don't think it's that crazy of an idea that if he becomes available because of contract disputes, that Green Bay wouldn't be interested in a guy who's from Wisconsin, who played his college ball here, and is at a position of uncertainty with Green Bay. They have Rashawn Gary, I understand, but they also do not know who's going to be the primary second edge rusher. Is it supposed to be Van Ness? Probably.
It's Van Ness, yeah.
Could it be someone else? Absolutely, from what we've seen from Van Ness over his first 2 seasons.
Tommy, your logic is not flawed. However, we understand how the Packers work.
Right, and also
Their logic is flawed.
2
not
seasons
yours.
ago, they went heavy on free agent acquisitions,
right.
and this year they did not, remember?
Right,
And we
yes.
talked about that yesterday on Pack a Day, and they relied a lot on development, or relying a lot on drafting and developing, and invested very heavily on the offensive side in the draft. They did not invest very heavily on the defensive side in the draft. They waited till day 3 for a lot of those picks. So if they had some information or now have this information available to them, there's absolutely not a 0% chance that Green Bay would not be interested in a perennial defensive player, all-pro type player every year.
I hear what you're saying.
Let me bring it back into reality. Are the Steelers even like taking any trade conversations?
They should not. No, they should not.
Yeah. I mean, they're not even – I don't think that's even a conversation. I do think the Cincinnati Hendrickson side of things might be a higher percentage chance if the Packers just really decided to dive in for a pass rusher.
Well, what if Green Bay went first round? They gave him a first rounder next year. Just straight up first round pick and a player. You can pick an edge rusher that's not named Rashawn Gary and a first round pick. The Steelers are completely not interesed?
I think they would have to think about it.
For the
They'd have to consider it.
24th pick in the draft. That's what the Packers would have next year?
I mean,
that's
just
expecting?
a guess. Somewhere around
guess.
there.
But TJ's going to want TJ's probably wanting $30 million a year, right?
Get
for
done.
the next 3 years.
Done. Signed. Go ahead. Move on. There
Signed.
it is. Easy. I don't. Why would you not?
All
The
right.
guy is a freak. He had 11.5 sacks last year, which is a down year for him in sacks, and that would be the best pass rusher on Green Bay. But on top of it, he's a chaos creator. He had 6 forced fumbles last year.
Yeah.
He can break up
He's
the
a motor
pass.
guy,
Yeah, this is not a guy that is just providing. He's a great run defender at that as well. You always see him making crazy athletic plays. He forces offenses to go the opposite direction because they want to avoid him. This is not a guy that you're just paying to get sacks for $30 million. It's completely eliminating a half of the field for the defensive side.
Yep, and that's why the
Again-
Steelers won't get rid of him. Right. They're trying to win.
And
games.
again, your logic is not flawed. The Packers are.
Okay, all right. You guys wanted to be excited, and I got excited, and then you guys were like, you know
No,
what?
I like
hate it. I hate
like
it.
I like it.
I think you and Mason
I like
got
it.
excited.
The question is-
I'm not even allowing myself to get excited about TJ
Oh,
Watt.
I'm not excited about it. I just think it needed to be, I do think we needed to discuss it. It's like I think everyone wants to just hear it so then they can move on and say, like, yeah, this is never going to happen. But I think if you don't speak it into existence, then it just kind of like, there's just hope all the time. And we know what hope is. It's not a strategy. So
I love when you say that.
I know you do.
I hate when you
love that
become reasonable after you were just a fan like 20 minutes ago. That's ridiculous. Like, it makes no sense.
Give up first next year, first the following year, and whatever they want player-wise.
What is this, Crosby?
Get TJ Watt right now. If they don't, then they're not even trying to win
multiple
games. Like,
And get Hendrickson. Have Watt on one side, Hendrickson on the other. I'll give up Gary.
Don't make Ed Policy a liar. They want to win games, and they want to keep the Packers in Green Bay, and this is the way to do it. Bring TJ Watt.
Would also be a great move for Ed Policy's early tenure with the Green Bay Packers. Just saying.
Yeah.
Bringing a
You're
hometown
not
boy
wrong.
back to the state. Yep.
Whoa, Tommy.
Whoa, sorry.
This is the Mason Crosby
Yeah,
Show.
for emphasis.
Yeah, you needed that one there. Presented by Verizon. If you're not watching on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee, you are missing on all sorts of fun and frivolity. Be a part of the action. Join us on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. He's Mason. I'm Thunder. We're in the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. to remind you of the mess you left when you went. Is there any surprise on Tommy's face that I know every word to this song? Dude, Alanis bangs. Relax.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She was so angry. All the time.
Angsty.
Back in the day.
Wonder why Mitch Nelles resonates
Original
so well
angst.
with.
Exactly. This is the Mason Crosby Show. We are presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. Mason, by the way, I got a box of swag and stuff from Verizon here. It is closed right now. I think I'm going to do like a internet unboxing on.
An unboxing.
Yeah.
Those are popular now.
So it's funny. I don't know if you got this box or not. Did you get this box from Andy?
I did.
Yeah. So I was talking to him last week or 2 weeks ago. He's like, "Oh, what'd you think of the box we sent you?" I'm like, "What box, dude?" He's like, "Yeah, we sent you and Mason a box."
Tommy had it.
Because you're presented by Verizon. I'm like, "Dude, I never got that box." He's like, "All right, let me check." He checks. He's like, "Yeah, you're right. You never got the box. I'll send it to you right now. Like, I'll get my guys on that right now."
Perfect.
And now I got a call with they're coming out to the house to check on the internet and all that stuff. So big fans.
You move
of
a lot
Verizon.
faster than I do.
Yeah.
I haven't been home very much.
That is a good point.
Yeah, as soon as I get at least a week and a half at home, I'll get all that set up, because much appreciated to Verizon and all they're doing for our show, and just sending us this goodie bag and getting us set up.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
It's the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. We're in the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. So just for clarification purposes, because we are on YouTube, and so people can see that Mason's not at his normal location. You are in Texas getting ready for the 4th at Casa de Crosby. That would be your parents' house. Is the whole family there? Is everybody there? Who are people still coming in? Like, what's the setup?
My whole crew is here right now.
So where are the kids right now?
They are at my parents'. I think they're actually coming.
Are they free range?
I'm in my mom's office.
Okay.
And I think they're going to come over here. Molly and I have to do a quick recording for our wine podcast, Crosby's Crew. Check it out. Yep.
Sure. That's Crew CRU, right?
CRU, a little play on words.
Yeah, I like it.
So they're going to cruise around. We'll probably just go grab some lunch. It's actually fairly mild for Texas summer this week, which is awesome. Low 90s. Yeah, it's great. So
are you guys?
You know how it is going home. You just it feels right.
Yes.
You know, you get to. I landed in Austin, and it's
whoa!
Like, man,
breaking news! We have breaking news here on the Mason Crosby Show.
Hit it!
Miles Turner has agreed to a 4-year deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. Miles Turner,
are you serious?
Agrees to a 4-year,
$107
million deal
dang.
with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes!
Is
Wow!
Beautiful. Life
Mitch,
is wonderful.
Get your season tickets back, Mitch. Get them back.
I know. I kind of.
Oh, man, he's calling today. Hope is alive. Hope is alive.
Holy everything.
Wow.
Holy all
That's
the
a good
gods.
signing. That's a good one.
If you have one God, great. If you have many gods, great. The gods have listened. Miles Turner agrees to a 4-year.
I love that.
414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. Feel free to text in. Feel free to call in with your reactions. Now, listen. Miles Turner isn't the savior. But Miles Turner is a
really good piece.
A borderline all-star. Obviously has tons of playoff experience now. So we go from hating Miles Turner. We still hate the Pacers, but Miles Turner is the piece. DeAndre Ayton,
we still hate the Pacers.
DeAndre Ayton, get out of here. Don't even come to Milwaukee.
I love it.
Miles, and they were just talking in the last segment on whatever ESPN2, I don't know, First Take or Cup of Coffee or whatever it is, that the Bucks were one of the teams that most needed to make a free agent move still.
Man.
Well, here it is, people. Miles Turner. Tommy is in disbelief right now. Usually he's shaking his head. He is like, holy cow.
That was not on was not on the radar.
No,
I thought he was just going to stay put.
That was wish. All right, now TJ Watt's coming to Green Bay.
Oh, gosh.
It's possible.
We spoke it
Because
into
anything
existence.
Is possible.
Talking about TJ Watt just made it happen.
That is the TJ Watt move of the offseason. It feels like, actually. That's insane that he wouldn't stay put in Indiana, and how they did not make him. They even said that they really wanted to go over the luxury tax this season for Indiana. We had saw that Jim Ozarski was on Wisconsin Sports Daily yesterday and said the Bucks were working on something big, so keep an eye out today. that was probably the something big.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
I also wonder how much the
so.
Halliburton injury factors into this, knowing
like,
that,
I wanna go.
Does Miles Turner look at the Pacers like, we peaked, we had our shot, Hallie got hurt, he's out all the next year, I don't want to deal with this for 2 more years. Yes, I love the Pacers and the fans, but the opportunity to play next to Giannis,
oh my gosh,
like that is
real.
The
guy is a dog. Yeah,
he is.
He is.
All right.
That's awesome.
Unbelievable.
He's good outside. He's a good outside shooter too, isn't he?
He is a 3-point shooter. He's not great, but he's good. He's a great mid-range,
like almost 40% from threes this year. 15 points, 6.5 rebounds, 2 blocks per game.
Wow.
That's going to be the huge piece, right? It's just his defensive presence.
All of it. The defense, the offense, the fact that he can stretch the floor. He runs. He's athletic. All right. Oh, I mean,
take a breath, Mitch.
I don't even want to take a breath. We've got phone calls. Our phone.
We're going to every game. We're going to every game.
We are. All right. And now I got super close up.
Oh, it's zooming in.
Let's start with Tommy in Bayview. Tommy, you are on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, with me, Mitch Thunder Nelles. Miles Turner is a Buck.
Oh, that is some great news.
Nice,
yes, it is, sir. That's exciting, right? You excited?
Just get your championship shirt ready. I mean, it's we're bringing it home.
I am so excited. I mean, let's look at what's happened the past month in sports. We got Mizorowski, the Miz, not coming out of nowhere, but establishing some dominance as a rookie.
Yep.
Now we're getting Miles Turner. I'm starting to feel optimistic the Packers might pull something off on that D-line now.
Watt. Yep, T.J. Watt's coming. It's happening.
It could happen.
Relax. But this is unbelievable, Tommy. It's like and you're right, Tommy Wirtz, talking about how Jim Ozarski was on yesterday saying something big was happening. I don't think this is what we thought. And Tommy and I talked about this like 2 months ago on the show about how like this was a dream. Like, wow, Miles Turner, what a fit that would be. Here we are. Miles Turner agrees to a 4-year deal with the Bucks. I'll bet Giannis is staying now. Hey, Windhorst. Hey, Shams. You can shut your pie holes now because Giannis is staying in Milwaukee.
Well, and imagine what happens when Lillard comes back healthy.
Right. I mean, yeah. Talk about a team.
I think not only is Garrett going to be great, Giannis is going to be excited, but I think Kevin Porter Jr. is really going to take off this year.
Oh yeah,
with them having to D up Turner and Giannis.
Yes, they're going to get out and run. I mean, this does make them Turner. I mean, Turner. Listen, Turner's not super young, but the athleticism he brings,
and the East is wide open.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And
you stole a really good piece
from the Pacers, right?
Yeah,
and you stole them from the Pacers.
Just took a player that was, kind of a thorn in our side, the Bucs side.
Yeah.
This is a crazy stat for
by
Turner.
addition.
One of just 3 players in NBA history with 700 3-pointers and 1,400 blocks, along with Brooke Lopez and Rasheed Wallace.
Wow.
So, I mean, I did not realize he was like in that kind of elite company.
Bedford,
that's impressive.
Bedford, Texas is just north of North Arlington. Do you know Bedford, Texas at all?
Oh yeah.
So that's where Miles Turner's from.
Heck yeah.
He's from Bedford, Texas.
Boy.
Wow.
Bring it home. I love it.
Unbelievable. Let's keep it going. Max is in Madison. Max, you're on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250. What do you got for us, Max?
One thing's for sure, I'm having a great day now. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. We're all having a great day. We are all having a great day. Miles Turner, baby. Woo!
Also, down with the Pacers. We got this.
That's right. We're
Finally.
taking.
Oh yeah,
Max. Thanks for the call, man. And that's
just snag a piece from them and just dominate.
That's the other piece is that they took them not just like from the team that eliminated you from the playoffs the last 2 years. I think part of it has to be that he knows they peaked. Right? That the Pacers got to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. They're not.
They overachieved.
Right.
Yeah.
They overachieved. They're not going to do it again. And I think I
won't
do
have
think
Halliburton for a while.
I think there's a draw to play with Giannis, and it's like there weren't a ton of free agents out there this year, but there's got to be a draw, and he sees it every day. Like he's on the Pacers, so they played each other like they've been through the wars the past few years. He's 29, so he's not young, but he's not old. Like he's right in the prime. Mason, remember when you were 29?
prime.
You were kicking field goals then.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Felt good at 29. Heck yeah. That's unreal. I think, in watching that series, I mean, it was like I just kept thinking how Miles Turner is just that guy that was making it tough for this Bucks team to do what they wanted to do. It's just again 2 blocks a game. Like the guy just runs. He's going to do all that hard work. So to add him, with a guy like Bobby Portis that is going to do all that gritty, grindy work as well.
Right, exactly.
I think this team
more news with this. The Milwaukee Bucks are waiving Damian Lillard and stretching the remaining $113 million on his contract in order to acquire Miles Turner. Sources tell ESPN from Shaz Surania.
What?
It has come to an end with Damian Lillard's 2 seasons in Milwaukee.
Wow. I mean, listen, if he's out for the whole year, it kind of makes sense.
I mean, I hate it, but
it's weird.
But that's a tough decision, and that's something that, unfortunately, it's like, again, I'm always on a player's side. It's like I want them to get their ops and do whatever, but you have to look at an organization, and they just made a really hard decision to try to make this team competitive right away this year.
Joining us back on the fan guest hotline powered by Gruber Law, Dario Melendez, WISN 12, who we just had talking about Miles Turner, is back on the show. Dario,
he's running around. He's running around with his hands up, just super fanning over there. Let's go.
Victory lap. I mean, as soon as my wife just told me, she's like, hey, did you know this before you talked about it? I'm like, no, did they get him? And, I mean, look, it makes all the sense of the world. And then the whole Damian Lillard news happens. Like, okay, lots to unpack here, right? You get Miles Turner, so now you have your starting 5. Portis can come off the bench. It all makes the best sense. You have Portis can play 4 and 5, which is great. Give Giannis a breath. Damian Lillard, you make that trade 100% of the time, right?
Yes.
It didn't work. It was never going to work. Giannis and Lillard just couldn't figure out how to work the pick and roll. Does it stink?
Yep.
Yes. Would you have liked to have seen Lillard healthy, Giannis healthy in the playoffs together? For sure. It just didn't work, guys. Like, I don't know how many times we're going to try to, sugarcoat it. They could not function together on the court, which is just weird. Because they both wanted to. It's not like they didn't like each other. They got along great. They both wanted to try to make this work. Giannis has never run a pick and roll. Lillard has never really had to distribute to a pick and roll because he's always been the main guy. It just never worked, unfortunately.
All right. So I'm calling the next move. They're going to get Drew Holiday back.
Ooh.
All right,
bring him back.
All right, I don't think they're actually doing that. But how crazy would that be? But I agree. I agree with everything you said, Dario, about Dame. I am a little as we feel the past 2 years that we never got to see Dame, Chris, and Giannis play together. Part of me is like, man, if Dame comes back healthy in February or March, wouldn't we have liked to have seen Dame, 100%. Miles, and Giannis play together?
Yeah, see, now that I'm coming off the high of Turner, I'm sad about Lillard going.
Well,
I would have liked to have seen it. I would have liked to have seen it.
Clippers, Lakers, or Heat? Where's Dame going to end up? It's one of those 3, right?
Lakers or Heat, yeah.
Lakers or Heat, I think. I mean, we don't have to worry about that today.
Lakers.
But it's but it is kind of there's, as with any happiness, oftentimes in sports, there's a bittersweetness because there's always the yin and the yang. I think it's softened by the fact that it's not like Dame was healthy and ready to play this year.
Yeah, he's not going to play this year, and by the time he's back, he'll be, 35, 36?
Right. He's not 29 coming off an Achilles.
Dennis Schroeder, has he signed anywhere yet? I haven't been near the phone.
He said he said he was signing with the Sacramento Kings, but I don't think that actually happened yet. He was on Twitter Live last night saying that Detroit didn't have enough money for him, and he's probably going to the Kings. But I didn't see anything official there.
I mean, that'd be a good fit.
That would be. That'd be a nice. They need a guard now, right? They need we love Trent and we love Porter, but they need a guard now, right?
I think Porter could be really good.
Yep.
I just don't know.
For sure.
I don't look. He was really good in Houston before all the allegations came out. He obviously was good with the Bucks when Lillard went down. Can he sustain that for an entire 82-game season? Not sure. There's got to be some other creative point guard out there. And look, maybe they don't have the money anymore getting the Miles Turner deal done.
Well, it's not a crazy – I mean, listen, 4 for $107. It's not like they're paying him $40, $50 million. I mean, that's $27 million a year. That's that is in today's economics in the NBA, that is manageable.
It's a good deal.
What I love about this move is that it crippled the Pacers.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Like the Pacers,
a core piece.
Well, and the reports out of Indiana, is that before Halliburton got hurt, they had talked about going over the luxury tax. But because of Halliburton's injury, apparently the owners had a change of heart and then decided not to go over the tax, and that basically said that Turner wasn't coming back.
That's going to sit well with the fan base.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You lose one of your star players, and now you're just like,
and now
we're just going to middle out.
Your longest tenured Pacer, like Turner had been there. He was the player that had the longest tenure there.
So now who's their 5 going to be? Obi Toppin?
Ugh. I mean, take Matherin in fantasy. Matherin is going to blow up next year in fantasy basketball.
Exactly.
They might not be good, but he's going to go nuts.
Yeah, they're going to be horrible.
Yeah, they're going to be very mid. All right, Dario, thanks for jumping on. Kudos to you, my friend.
Heck yeah, Dario.
That's Dario Melendez joining us on the guest hotline, powered by our friends at Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Tommy, how you feeling?
I just want to take a victory lap for the fans today. Take a victory lap for the fans. Don't think anything is not possible. That's where we're at. You tried to be reasonable last segment. The universe slapped you guys in the face right away, immediately. That's called karma, gentlemen. It's called karma.
Reasonable. I mean, hey, we spoke into existence right at the end. I just said, do everything. Just, sell the farm. And the Bucks didn't necessarily have to sell the farm. Like, you had to waive Damian Lillard, which is tough. But those are tough decisions that an organization has to make if they're chasing something. Do you think these Giannis talks are still going to continue? Do you think they're going to be on saying, like, well,
they got rid of They got rid of Lillard, and so if they can just cut Lillard,
no, they're over. They're over now.
They're over for this offseason.
Yep, they're over now.
Gosh, yeah.
Andy Herman tweets.
This is the chance right here.
Andy Herman tweets, "What a bizarre 24 hours to be a Bucks fan. What a roller coaster of emotion." I agree with that. I was at Fiserv Forum the day that Damian Lillard flew in. And there was a welcome, he didn't even talk to the crowd, but literally there were 20,000 people at Fiserv just cheering and gathering. And as the cavalcade of Escalades rolled in, and it was it was very cool. We were flight aware, tracking the plane to the airport, and it was half an hour late, and And
what do you think Miles Turner's first press conference being a Pacer?
They should do it publicly.
For all this stuff.
They should do it publicly. The place will go nuts.
What does he say? As far as he was a Pacer.
Yeah.
I mean, he battled against the Bucks for a while here.
I think he addresses that.
So then
I think he says that.
Hey, I saw this opportunity. I want to play with Giannis. I love this. I loved every time I got to play here. I like the fan base. He has a real opportunity right away to ingratiate himself with the fans and make it a real positive spin, because there's going to be a little portion of the fan base where it's all right, I've hated this guy for a long time.
Right.
He needs to prove it to me that he can actually be a Milwaukee Buck.
So they are stretching the Damian Lillard contract out. It's 112.6 remaining on his deal. So that'll be dead cap cash hits for the Milwaukee Bucks for $22.5 million for the next 5 years against their cap.
You don't see this in the NBA.
No, this is actually. I mean,
the Bucks. So the Bucks here are either ahead of the game or they're going to end up regretting this.
It's another John Horst Hail Mary, right?
Yeah, but I think this is even
I think it's worth it here.
I wonder who the Andrew Brandt of the Milwaukee Bucks is, because this has the finance guy written all over it, who must have run the numbers and said that this is worth having because you don't run dead cap space in the NBA. You just don't do it. No one does.
You don't hear it, yeah.
And so the Bucks are either trendsetters here, or they're going to get, or 5 years from now, the rest of the NBA is going to laugh at them and say, "What a brutal decision you guys made." I think it'll air on the.
But they must have had some conversations with Giannis that it was hey, I'm going to consider moving on here after this season if we don't get something, if we aren't chasing a championship. So I mean they had to throw a Hail Mary. They had to go and get something. And carrying that cap hit, it might hurt them, but it's not going to hurt them this year. That's not going to hurt them as they go and try to win a championship in 2025-26. So I think it's the necessary thing to do whenever you have a world class talent like a Giannis.
You should text John again, see if he can come on right now, Mitch.
I'll text him. Jeff writes into the show that this might be a little karma for messing with Giannis. You know, Halliburton does the Dame time, messes with the Bucks, and obviously loses one of his best teammates, the injury aside. Beasley messes with Giannis. Now he's under NBA investigation. Stop messing with Giannis, everybody.
That sounds like a good strategy.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see how this whole Lillard getting waived and dead cap space plays out, just because it's such a new concept in the NBA. Like, I get that it makes sense, but I am a little intrigued over the next few years. Like, how do you move forward with $22 million a year in dead cap space? Like, you really got to get creative in bringing guys in. You really need Giannis to be now a cheerleader and a recruiter to bring guys in at a lower dollar value. You know, maybe it's veterans, the way that we've seen, like, veterans at the end of their career chase a ring. Like, Giannis is going to have to go get some guys now, because the Bucks are not going to be in a competitive situation to actually pay for some of the guys they're going to want.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but they just got a really, really good player. They have Giannis. They shored up a couple guys for a couple years here. They will have options. That's going to be the issue, right? Is if those guys opt out next year, a Gary Trent Jr. and a KPJ, if they go and win a championship and they go and play out of their minds and make themselves more valuable, they won't be able to pay some of those guys even that are on their roster. So that is going to pose a problem, but we don't have to worry about that until next year.
That's right. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. The Bucks are waiving Damian Lillard. They are acquiring Miles Turner. Whew, what a turn of events for our Milwaukee Bucks. This, the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon.
Green and growing better each year. Green and growing, the Bucks don't stop here.
This one's even like before me. This one's so classic, but that is like late 70s, early 80s. Green and growing, the Milwaukee Bucks. Green and growing, our Milwaukee Bucks are green and growing. Miles Turner is a Milwaukee Buck, signs a 4-year, $107 million deal. Dame Lillard's contract is terminated. There is $22 million of dead cap space over the next few years to make up for that. Actually, Mrs. Thunder asked me a great question. She said, all right, so that means there's $22 million that you can't spend, but can you then go over the luxury tax and pay, and get, and I bet you can. It's just $22 million that like is already counted is already counted toward that.
This is like also mathing to a Kyle Kuzma trade. Just mathing. Mathing.
Well, it's guaranteed. It's also guaranteed a Pat Connaughton trade. Like the Bucks are already on record saying they wanted the salary dump. Like they can't pay Pat Connaughton $9 million a year this year when Gary Trent Jr. is making 3.7 and Kevin Porter Jr. is making 5.5. You can't be paying Connaughton 9.5. So it would make a ton of sense if they could dump. Because dumping Kuzma and Connaughton more than makes up for that $22 million that you lose with Lillard, and brings in a player that they need. Like I don't know who that player is, but they still need a guard now. It's funny with Kuzma though; they still need a wing. Like they still need two players to round out this roster of playable players.
It's just that the math is right around $20 million on Kuzma's deal, right? Yeah. He was at 20, and then he goes to 19 this year, 18 the year after. So the math just makes sense on making up for that $22 million in dead cap with a Kyle Kuzma move.
414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. 414-677-1250. Your thoughts on the oh, man. 414 writes in, Mitch should avoid. I am. I'm a little overwhelmed. Mitch should avoid using that falsetto. Was from 20. I don't know if that was from. That was.
I don't think so.
That was the Alanis Morissette. I think that was reaction to the Alanis Morissette we played here.
I don't agree with it.
No, I appreciate that. It's interesting that all this money stuff is happening on Bobby Bonilla Day. For those of you who are keeping track at home, Bobby Bonilla, the former New York Met, who once signed a deal that pays him $1 million a year on July 1st for the next 30 years. We're probably about halfway through that. Like, I don't know how many years he has left on that.
2035 is the last year Bobby Bonilla.
So now it's Dame Lillard Day.
Right, now it's Dame Lillard Day. Apparently, Ryan Braun also gets $1.8 million today from the Milwaukee Brewers, and that's through 2031. 2031.
Well, I told you guys, I'll give y'all $1 every day until
done. Say less.
On July 1st until next year.
Yeah,
I'll give you $1 next year. We'll just do it. I'll take it. Deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Chris,
hey, I was looking up. So I was looking
crazy.
up because we asked, who's responsible for this? You said, like an Andrew Brandt or a Russ Paul.
Right. Who's the money guy?
I would assume it's this Patrick McDonough.
Okay.
McDonough, the senior vice president and CFO. So, I mean, I'm guessing that's who would have kind of put this deal together.
The CFOs though sometimes are more like on the business side of money, not on the player side of money. Running the franchise. Like I do want. I'm sure he's part of that team, but yeah,
it's so hard to find who actually is in the front office. They're the Bucks. Like whenever you look at Packers website, it's like obviously you can.
Is it all right there?
Everybody in that organization.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like if you go to the Bucks. Yep. And NBA actually runs all the teams' kind of websites. Right. It's all NBA.com/Bucks. Yeah, which is kind of weird. I don't like that. That's wonky. And that's like MLB as well. So I go and I'm trying to find it, but I mean that's kind of all I could find. It was like the Real GM is where I found the executive stuff. So I don't know. This is crazy. So whoever did it, well done. Well done on just taking a chance, going chasing something. I think one of the things before we get lost here in the euphoria of Miles Turner is kind of thinking about Dame Lillard and the trade when he originally came here, trading Drew and trading draft picks. Dame Lillard at the time, seemingly fully healthy, yes, not young, but one of the top 75 play on the 75-year anniversary team, like one of the top players, top scorers in the NBA.
brought here with tons of positivity, tons of excitement, and
I got some more news.
yeah, so does Sparky.
Yeah, it is is it Chris Haynes? Is that what he's got there in front of you?
Whoa,
What do we got?
Yeah, so breaking from Chris Haynes, senior NBA insider, he has Giannis Antetokounmpo is not pleased with the team's decision to waive Damian Lillard, league sources tell Chris Haynes.
Wow.
The story's not done.
No, this story is not
done.
Chris Haynes getting the inside. All right, so I guess Giannis trade rumors are back in full force. Like trade Giannis for.
There's
everything.
no way though. I mean, yeah, he can demand a trade now, but like that's just not going to happen.
Well,
right?
and he's not going to demand a trade. Him being unhappy with a trade is not the same as him demanding a trade.
Here's the thing though, too, is take all that with a grain of salt. Like Dame Lillard's his guy. Of course he's not happy. Right. Like, of course he's not thrilled that he's not going to be there.
Well, because
and that Brooke Lopez isn't going to be there.
Right,
that,
Brooke's not there, and Chris isn't there anymore.
And Chris isn't
Drew,
there. I mean,
and they use Drew to get Dame.
Like Giannis is an honest guy, and he's going to say, I don't love that my guy is gone." Like that happens every year, every team. There's a player, there's somebody that you're unhappy with. That doesn't mean that he's not going to work really hard and ball out. It just means that he wishes Dame didn't get hurt and that they could have done a little bit better last year and that they could run it back. But like this is the reality of sport, and unless he demands a trade right now, like there's no reason to trade him at this point.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I do wonder like what the rules are again. Back to the finance guy, like so they stretch out Dame's contract over the next 5 years. Could they have stretched it out over 10 years and just taken an $11 million cap hit for the next 10 years as opposed to a $22 million hit for the next 5? Like, I don't know what those rules are. Remember, we're on YouTube now at The Fan Milwaukee, growing every single day with our YouTube following. So make sure that you are watching us as well as listening to us because you never know when there's going to be breaking news right here on the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon.
Today. This is crazy. And let me I'm just thinking about Giannis in this situation. Actually, I'm thinking like I'm kind of leaning towards Dame, and okay, he's going to get $22.5 million from the Bucks for the next 5 years. Yeah. So what does he go and sign for now? Because he's going to be double dipping, right? So like, does somebody sign him, middle of the season to a 1 year? Like, what does that contract look like?
Right. Like,
so
does somebody sign?
He's going to be getting 2 contracts at some point. Once he comes back healthy, someone will give him a $30 million type deal.
Or does somebody sign him now? Is there a chance that the Lakers just sign him now just to get him under contract? You probably want to give
it's a team like the Lakers.
You probably want to give him a 2-year deal because maybe he comes back at the end of this year and then you have him healthy for all of next year. Does Dame get signed now?
You could sign him. You could offer him a 2-year, $30 million deal. He'd probably take it because he's like, now I'm making $37 million a year. Yeah. Like, it's a pretty good situation that Dame's in as well. So like, yes, hate it for Dame. Don't like that Giannis is unhappy about that, but also like it's actually a good situation for Dame. Like he could go maybe sign somewhere else, get an opportunity to make even more money. So I don't think we can't feel bad for him. I feel bad that he got hurt. I feel bad that it just didn't work out in Milwaukee. I hate that for a player of his caliber, but now he's going to go and seek another opportunity.
Yeah. The what ifs will always be present in terms of what if Dame and Chris and Giannis could have all played one playoff game together healthy. They never played a playoff game healthy, and so we don't know. We don't know what that means. But it is, it's sad for Dame. I still think you make that trade 10 times out of 10.
Sad's a big word. I mean, I think it's
sad for Bucks fans. Sad for the franchise
that it didn't work out.
Right.
Here's the thing. Remember when I said I was at that game and I'm courtside, and I was liking the interaction with Doc and Dame, but there maybe was a disconnect there, and it wasn't like a positive relationship, right? And it's like, so now at this point, we get a younger guy, like he fits a role, all that. Dame's hurt, and it's just kind of like, all right, like that just didn't work out. It just wasn't what we expected. It wasn't the pieces that we needed. It's time to move forward, and that's clearly what happened here.
If that really is Giannis's reaction, which is being reported by Chris Haynes, it was from
Chris Haynes,
and is he ESPN or what is he?
What's the wording on it again? Like what exactly was said?
The wording on it is Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo is not pleased with the team's decision to waive Damian Lillard. League sources tell Chris Haynes, and I believe he used to be affiliated with something, but he's just kind of his own thing. He's very established, so he's got his YouTube channel, LinkedIn. He's 600,000 followers on Twitter. Yeah,
senior NBA insider. Okay, so league sources say he's not pleased. I got to think, though, maybe he's not pleased because he didn't see this coming. But once you sit back and think about it, he's got to realize this makes sense, not just for the franchise, but for him as well. Like, we keep going back to the fact that the Bucks, when Giannis was dominating the ball, when they went 8-0 with Dame out, it's because they wanted Giannis to be in control of that offense. Well, Giannis is in control of that offense. Like that, this is Giannis. This is even more Giannis
and a businessman. Right. I mean, he understands business.
Right.
Like it's not like.
Are you waiting for Dame to come back? No, you can't wait for Dame to come back.
He understands, and that comment is so vague that he's not pleased. Like I just read it because I needed to hear it again from Tommy. I got to see the context, like written word, and it's just like, he's not happy. Like he's not pleased that it his guy Dame's gone, but he's a professional athlete. He's a businessman. He understands that the organization has to keep pushing forward if he's going to be there. So you can have your feelings and everyone's in the right to not be happy in a situation. But at the end of the day, you're a pro and you're going to go out there and you're going to get the job done and you're going to work really hard for it because that is who Giannis is, and he's not going to make any excuses about that.
I do wonder how much of a failure he sees it as, and I know he doesn't have failures. Like every season, if you don't win, it's not a failure. He made a big deal about that 2 years ago. He ripped on Eric Name of the
know what
Athletic.
I say about failures too. Yeah, that's a mindset. It's like you
I
only fail when you quit trying, when you quit working, when you stop.
I think there's
forward.
different, and I think there's different levels of failure. I think mindset is the biggest failure of them all. But I think if you are a team that its goal is to win the championship, you don't win a championship, there are many reasons. And that doesn't mean it's a failure, but in that specific instance, it's a failure. Right, it's a missed opportunity. I do wonder if there's something in Giannis's head like, man, Dame and I never got our shot together, and
there's disappointment.
And if he internalizes that, if part of him initially reacting to not being happy about this is you know what, Dame and I deserve to have a chance to win, and we never got that chance, and I failed. I failed at being who I want to be, how I want to represent myself, how I want to represent my team, that sort of thing. If there's any of that going on with him as well.
Well, I think, end of any era, any time where you had a window with a teammate, a player that is the caliber of a Dame Lillard, you feel like you should have done more if you didn't win a championship every year that you were together, right? So he's a competitor. They're both competitors, and they probably, have a mindset of disappointment, missed opportunity that two great players weren't able to bring a championship to the Bucks.
Exactly.
And I'm sure those are the things that you're going to kind of process through here as you start figuring out. Again, I got to think Giannis, maybe some of that disappointment or some of that not being pleased is some of the battles he's probably had against Miles Turner.
Sure.
It's they've had some tough fought games
absolutely
against the Pacers. And so you're going to have to shift your allegiance from I dislike you and I want to beat you at every turn to now, all right, how are you going to fit into this? I am the man, I am the leader. And you need to know where you fit in to this system in the Milwaukee Bucks.
Listen to The Fan for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the one and only Adam Sandler and his You're My Best Friend tour live Sunday, October 5th at Fiserv Forum. Visit thefanmilwaukee.com for your chance to register to win a pair of tickets. Mason's Extra Points. Gee, I wonder what's on Mason's mind today. Coming up here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today? It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nelles on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Oh, what's on my mind? Oh my gosh, so much. I am just curious now what the next move is going to be for the Bucks. Yep. I just keep thinking, all right, you have Connaughton, you got Kyle Kuzma. Who's going to be moving? Where are they going? What is that next piece? I hate this. There's disappointment that it didn't work out for Dame and Giannis to bring a championship back to Milwaukee, and I know they are just so disappointed that they couldn't get it done. Chris Middleton couldn't stay healthy and be that third piece just to bring another championship back. But, got to applaud the Milwaukee Bucks and that front office and that organization for making some tough decisions, to try to move this team in a direction, to be competitive, to go and attack this Eastern Conference because it is wide open. They can go and make some noise, and I think they're poised now. And where we were 2 months ago, they are poised now to be a real dominant threat in this Eastern Conference with the moves that they're making. So excited for that. What I do want to ask you, Mitch, is did you tell us what the weather was today? Because I'm not sure I can move on July 1st without knowing what the weather's
you got
outside.
You got a window, bro? It is 79. It is 79 degrees and sunny right now in Hales Corners. High of 85, low of 66. Sunny all day long in the low 80s. Go outside, enjoy it. Put a little sunscreen on. Save your skin. Be smart, but enjoy it. Enjoy them. Enjoy.
Saw someone playing Whistling Straits yesterday, and I was really jealous.
I'll bet you. Get your butt up here, dude. Let's go.
I know. I'll be there soon. I'll be there in a couple weeks.
You are. You're going to have an amazing week in Texas. Can't wait for tomorrow. It is a beautiful day. The Brewers, Freddie's on the mound against the Mets. The leadoff show today from 5 to 6 with Tommy Wirtz. I cannot wait for Wisconsin Sports Daily with served up by Wendy's with Sparky today. All Bucks all the time. He's going to be on one for sure. Cannot wait for that. Miles Turner a buck. Dame Lillard, not a buck. Mace?
Yep, end of an era.
Yep.
Moving into the next. Let's keep it going.
Yep, the super short era, but era. He's Mason Crosby.
Era. It was an era.
It was.
It was like a Taylor Swift era.
Next album. The Miles Turner era starts now. I'm Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. He is Mason Crosby. The Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network here in Milwaukee. We're in the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Miles Turner, baby, let's go.
Yep, let's do it again tomorrow.